Louis City for the future. Quick brief history. The land trust was created in 2007. We added in 3 gardens, Lafayette Square, Soulard, and Dogtown, and then the land trust basically sat for 10 years. This year we added in 2 gardens at the beginning of the year. The International Institute's Global Farm, Joel's here for that farm, in Botanical Heights. And then it kind of got much more attention with the issues around the English Cave Garden. And then for us, we've now have under contract 14 gardens in the city of St. Louis. If you look at our map over here, everything, the red dot is on that list. And if all goes well, legally and with the title company, we should be closing at the beginning of November. So it's kind of a fun process. We do have a sheet over there kind of listing out all the gardens that we are bringing into the land trust this year. And we do have more on the way. I'm getting more emails too of other interest from gardens both in St. Louis City and also now in St. Louis County. They want to become part of this protection of the land trust. I do want to thank one person specifically today with the funding, because this year we got our first funding for our land trust from the Meissen Foundation, with Jenny Holzer of Commerce and Kemper Foundation. They made the connection for us, and they're the ones that are actually helping us really fund a few of these gardens that can't raise all the funds to buy them. And Lovey's one of those gardens that is here today too. So if I could quickly get, everybody's going to be going into the land trust or is in the land trust, raise their hand if they're one of the gardeners. That's great. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're out here today and enjoying this time. And as we go forward too, one of the fun things that we saw in the last LRA board meeting was the fact that gardens were talking to each other during the meeting, sharing tips and ideas. So we want to see that fostered and bring those gardens together more and make them more of a special group going forward. I also want to thank LRA, Laura Costello's here, Austin Albert. I might have been a pest to them quite a bit over the past few months, but we got to where we are today, which is fun. And also the LRA board too. Mark Levison actually came out to one of our gardens to get a tour of the garden and to really see what's going on and get a real flavor for what a community garden can do in the neighborhood. My land trust board, Missy McCoy is here from the land trust board too, and then Matt Hoffman. Thank you, Missy. And then last thing I really want to say is I thank Benton Park Cafe and also Whisk for bringing out some treats today to kind of celebrate this neighborhood event. And also Greenscape too, a few gifts for our land trust gardens. It's a fun time, and we do expect to see the land trust explore new avenues. We are learning more and more about what a land trust can do, what it can't do, and there's opportunities we think with the land trust beyond even community gardens and urban farms of roles that it can take in St. Louis and be an asset for the community. So we're definitely going to explore those going forward. So right now, I want to pass it off to Mayor Cruson.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me here this morning. So I have to ask, who organized the postcard writing? Is that person here?
Yeah, Jessica.
Very good, Jessica. I don't know how many. At one point I was keeping track of the number of postcards I got about the love for this community garden. And so when I started receiving the postcards, I was like, well, where is this place? And I look it up on the map. I get in the car one Saturday, and I'm driving, trying to kind of figure it out, and drove down here. Maybe some of you saw me, and parked my car and walked around, and I had never been to this little hidden gem before. So I immediately understood why you all cared so much about this spot. It is really special as a spot, but of course also as a garden. And so I'm glad that this worked out to where this will forever be a community garden. Next year maybe more tomatoes, more more vegetables, I don't know. But this, I think, demonstrates the power of neighbors coming together and the ability of folks who really care about their neighborhood or something in their neighborhood, who probably took this for granted for many, many years, to come together to really work to preserve something great for the neighborhood. So thanks to all of you who care so much about gardening and who care so much about green space. I mean, it's both, I think. And we know that in the city of St. Louis, we have 109 parks. And so we have, most of us live within walking distance of a park. But this is, I know, not a park, but still a gem of a green space, which provides respite and provides this connection to the land and connection to growing things that often we don't find in many city neighborhoods. So thanks to all of you for your work on this and for caring so much about green space, because certainly it makes our city a much better place to live and to enjoy. So thanks for having me here this morning. Congratulations to all of you who live around this green space or the many other gardens that you just raised your hands that you're near a community garden too. So thank you, and thanks to Gateway Greening for your work on this.
Alderman Gunther, this garden is in your ward.
All right, welcome everyone. Again, Dan Gunther, 9th Ward Alderman. Well before getting into politics, I was a gardener right here, and still am. I'm one of a handful of members that in this community came together about 13 years ago and started putting our hands in the soil in this plot of land. So over the last year, when we were faced with the possibility of losing this little gem here in the neighborhood to a new single-family house, it was at the LRA meeting, and once again, I do want to thank Laura, LRA, for putting up with us in the many days that I called and argued over the benefits of community gardens. So prior to running for politics, working in the Office of Sustainability for the City of St. Louis, and the City of St. Louis has a really wonderful sustainability plan. And if anyone knows about it, it talks about triple bottom line sustainability, which says that there are 3 things that should go into every decision that the city government makes. So we should be looking at economical, environmental, and social benefits of every development in the city. And so when I had to go to the LRA hearing to argue for why I believe that this piece of land should be saved and why we did not need another house here, not only were we talking about the economical benefits of a garden, there's a lot of research that shows that houses that are within a block of a community garden space, that the values go up 30%. Looking around here, you see a lot of beautiful houses, and this really is a space where we can all look at with pride and say, yeah, this is our little garden, our little kind of hidden gem in our alley here. But then we also looked at the environmental benefits of the garden. I believe that one of our members has some honey from this garden that they are going to be sharing with the mayor later on. Then there's also the social aspects of this garden. So, besides growing the tomatoes and the eggplants and the fruits, the pawpaw trees that we have pawpaw pudding with, besides all those things, this garden really for the neighborhood association over the last 13 years has been a place where we've been able to gather. We had an annual Gourd Glow where we brought hundreds of kids out, carved pumpkins, marched them through the neighborhood. We have socials here. We have potato bakes in the fall. So there's a lot of social aspects to this garden that I thought was a lot more important than just putting another single house in a neighborhood. We've been very fortunate in this neighborhood that we actually are just about out of vacant land. We don't have a whole lot of empty space around this neighborhood to be able to build on. So when we were faced with the potential of losing this garden, it really kind of rallied people to come together and say, and again, the shout out to Jessica, where she went in the back there, who came up with the postcard mailing campaign to where we had, I would say, hundreds of postcards going to the mayor's office, all with great pictures of the kids carving pumpkins to the historical aspects of this. So for a number of years, the neighborhood association had been talking with Matt and talking with Gateway Greening about putting this piece of property into the land trust. We had all known about the land trust and the benefits that not only the Soulard and the Lafayette Park gardens had, both being pieces of land on very valuable real estate. But the fact that those 2 gardens were in the land trust, we were kind of just nudging with it for many years. And then this past year, when there was actual contract put in on this piece of land, it really kind of got everyone to kind of put a little extra effort into the fact that we need to get this land trust kind of the conversation going again, the funding in place, and really get everything we needed. And so I'm proud to say that as a part of what could have been a tragedy of losing this place, we ended up being a part of the greater benefit. That's something that's going to benefit the entire city of St. Louis by putting these pieces of property into the trust so that they will forever be communal green spaces for our neighbors. So again, thank you, Mayor Krusen, for your leadership on this. I know you got a lot of phone calls and a lot of postcards. Thank you to Gateway Greening for being the one that actually was able to help carry us through this process and be able to change the policy of LRA so that we can actually look at the benefit of a garden when it comes to what it does for neighborhoods. So thank you everyone for being here today, and we look forward to you looking around and enjoying our garden. So thank you. Oh yeah, Bill.
Wow, I don't know that I deserve that, but I'll take it.
Thanks, Bill.
As the Alderman mentioned, there are some city policy changes. And Austin Albert was the one we pestered the most. I invite Austin to come up, say a few words.
A little disappointed that I actually didn't get any of the postcards. The walls of my cubicle are a little bare, so it could have been nice decoration, right? I am the Vacancy Strategy Project Manager. I'm with SLDC. I'm housed at LRA. That's expanding capacity for LRA, but also looking at policies, reforms, looking at new programs to get vacant land out of the inventory. And so I started in January, and I would say the garden policy and the updates to that was my baptismal of fire in a way. So that was the first major project. So I found it trying at times, but overall really beneficial because at the end of the day, government makes policies, they make rules, but I've really learned that good policy is a policy that's updated, it's adaptable, it's relevant with the times, and times have changed. And so we have to acknowledge that these community gardens are community assets, and that they should have a level of protection for them as well. So I want to thank Matt. You've been really beneficial, and looking at some of the research, communicating the stories, the experiences of the gardeners, not just here, but all across the city, and the leadership of Mayor Krusen and her staff, my colleagues at SLDC, Laura Costello at LRA. It's been a really great experience, and I look forward to working with you all in the future. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks to everyone for coming out this morning. I just have two quick things I want to say. First of all, for Greenscape, if you're a land trust garden, grab one of the pots over there. Those are gifts for you from Greenscape. I think there's some pollinators in there for you to take back to your gardens. That's one gift. And the second thing I want to do, I'd love to get a photo of all the gardeners with the mayor, with the alderman, with Austin, with Laura, right up here on the hill. So all the gardeners will come up here, please. Thank you. All the gardeners. If you're a gardener, come up here.
Matt, is there another Laura?
You're the Laura. You're the Laura. One arm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a garden tour in a few minutes here, and I have a narrative that talks about the whole process of building out this garden over the last 13 years. So we're going to start that real soon. Thank you.
About to do like a walk it talks about the you're gonna walk around the park tour.
You want me to go get your plant? Yeah. Like,
These doors the size of the brick field 40. Must be what do you think they're growing here?
where this flower is at. No, I live in Chesterfield.
Once you get it going, oh my gosh. I mean, it's an annual, so, you know, it's not real.
I've seen the leaf before.
They're pretty too.
It feels like it's a lot more social. Miss Love, that's Miss Love started.
People come out here. Especially Sunday during the summertime. The one group every Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have noticed that. That's when I don't go with you. Not when people are there. Just don't do it.
Well, and this one is not long. So, I mean, that aspect too. Somebody want to go and have coffee.
I thought about they have those fish cleaning tables at the sink. It'd be great to clean up, but I don't know. It might be better off with an old laundry truck that goes away every year.
Yeah, you don't.
It'd be nice. So, if you go down to Civic, it's kind of like somebody took it out of the house. It's a built up area. Yeah, no, it's not.
I've got an old metal laundry truck. Stepping out of the alley, and it's on an old metal stand. But it's old galvanized.
Watermelon?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It's attractive.
And the sweet potatoes. I just had some of those.
doesn't look like it pulled out of the alley.
No, it's fun to do stuff. There you go. Yeah.
Did he,
This is so nice. I thought
have to figure out
I've
that
been in this area and out,
you put a 5-gallon bucket for drain for a bit? You know, if you put it up where on the patio there, or near the patio, you have to figure, you know, to actually put that in, you have to be conscious of what you're doing. Well, you know, but a 5-gallon bucket for drain, or 5 gallons. You know what I mean? I mean, that'd be, you have a couple buckets, so you don't have to.
Right. Yeah.
That might be, that's an easy solution, and just be conscious of not running through. But you know, that's,
It's an idea. I mean, if we're going to buy a lawnmower, I'm the whole shop.
yeah, I think that lawnmower is really good.
Yeah, and even if you're going to have to
when I was a docent at the botanical garden, they have a pawpaw tree.
or somebody could put it in.
But, you know, our winter trees are cheap, and that's what I do. One of my properties where I just chain it to the porch.
And there it is.
And there it is.
And then in the winter, you take it in.
And then I leave it out. I just leave it there. But I like it.
There's more than one option. One option is simply buy the cheapest lawnmower you can every year, and in the fall, sell it or donate it. And that way there's a fresh one in the spring is when you have the problems, not in the fall.
Right, exactly.
You know, and a lawnmower is like $120 now.
Right. Yeah. I bought a used one.
I know, that's the thing.
There you go.
I'm not kidding you. I mean, the guy said that he had done some. You know, it's tough. It's really powerful than the other ones. It's really bad. It's all rusty.
I know, my mom, she would make persimmon pudding.
Oil.
That makes the oil and air filter make all the difference, and not keeping gas in the
They
winter.
do if they're not ripe. They're not ripe yet.
So you'll take a walk pretty soon.
It does. The weather isn't good for us. And the winter is even harder. They have disappeared in the West. But only because the movie person decided they didn't want to play with them. But you know, they are.
I guess it's just easier access, you know.
Yeah, a lot of you a lot flatter.
Yeah, okay.
I see it.
All right, we'll see you.
Did they really? Okay. Okay. I'm glad you told me that because I had been keeping an eye on it for a while, and the last time I asked them was early August, and they said they were planning to start it soon. That's cool. Hey, Bill. You saying that Earthbound is doing weekend tours? They started.
Yeah.
We got to get in on that. Yeah. I'm glad you told me that.
I'm Christian. More knowledge. Contact.
Original versus kind of where it is.
Yeah, Mom. I'm talking like a when I say drenching, it's all things water. dark, I like trees.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. My number is 636-697-7513. And my name is Mike.
I have been since I'm sorry. This one's for you.
Okay. Nice garden.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, let's do
You Brock?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Yeah. And then I'm with
Yeah, I know, I know.
Missouri Valley guy.
It's very simple.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you liked my last about the
We move once a month. Yeah.
big steps and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We meet at the Kirkwood Community Center. Third Wednesday of the month. So that's this.
Actually, I dropped out of downtown. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was both for the past 2 years and I dropped out.
I live on a farm lot, so I have a lot of grass. I have a lot of space to grab trash.
3,000. That's $1,000 check.
Alright. Yeah.
He's telling you because we all own that house.
You want to get in the car?
Well, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, so it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have a website up on just Google everywhere.
All right.
Thank you.
Good trip.
We got stained glass.
Surprised Joe didn't come to the thing.
Not right now.
Yeah. Did he bring you some pamphlets?
Yeah, I've got like 7 or 8 of them.
Was it the English page? He mailed me one of those a while back. Figured that's what he was giving you. Those are cool. Really?
They said Cowgirl Beats.
Why don't you show me that?